Thank you, sir. And I'd like to recognize myself for 5 minutes. Mr. Buse, can you take 30 seconds and tell me, just to make sure I'm clear, what DSRC is?
Dedicated short-range radio communications.
And how is it going to be used?
To send basic safety messages between devices.
And this is being developed by
With a whole host of alphabet soup.
Agencies, federal agencies.
Federal agencies, suppliers, manufacturers, tech companies.
So here's my concern about that. DOD and VA spent over $500 million trying to get 2 electronic health records to work together. And after 4 years, they said, this is really hard, we're going to have to go separate areas, right? And now we're talking about being in an industry where you have so much private sector investment that are figuring this out. Why are we even thinking about the federal government getting involved in doing this when a standard hasn't developed out of the private sector? The private sector is going to be a little bit better equipped to develop this type of technology, and the thing is probably going to work a little bit better. I don't know, Mr. Garfield, do you have some opinions on this?
We do.
I'd like to hear them.
Our view is, and I shared it implicitly in my testimony, is that there are complementary technologies that are being developed, including advanced LTE and 5G, that we can't tell which is going to prove most effective. And so we think having the ability for all of those, including DSRC, to advance, but without a thumb on the scale, including the thumb of the scale of the Department of Transportation.
Yeah, and Mr. Buse, why do we think that Department of Transportation should be doing this, and why this is going to be helpful in the concept of interconnected cars? And I also appreciate you talking about the safety concerns related with interconnected cars.
So maybe just to clarify, I think there's a misconception about what we're doing at the proposal level. Right, so we're writing a proposal to ensure interoperability, security, and everything else that's needed to support communications between vehicles. If at some point in the future, or even in response to the proposal, data comes in that shows there's an alternative technology that can meet the safety potential, then
do we not think that that's already there? I think
certainly in response,
is doing it. I think Tesla's doing it. I think GM's even tinkered with this. I think it's the cat's out of the bag.
In response to the ANPRM, none of those comments came in. There was not one person that responded back saying that this technology shouldn't be mandated. It's not the right technology. But again, I think we're writing that rulemaking with an open mind, and it's just a proposal. And so the idea is we'll get comments and we'll evaluate where we are. I think the whole notion of going this step is really to take it out of the research where it's been for so long and really shine a light on it so we can get some discussion on it.
Absolutely, because I had dear friends in a recent car accident, and there was a fatality, and the car that came and hit them, first eyewitnesses said that the car never broke. There was no braking involved. And the technology, advanced emergency braking that Tesla is developing, I think other manufacturers are, I want to see this as quickly as possible. And Mr. O'Connell, my question to you is, is there any barriers that are preventing y'all from moving even faster on deploying this technology?
No, I think it's human will and open communications, both between the parties here at the table and with government bodies is obtained all around. Use the convening power of our separate agents. Share information. That's what's going to solve this problem.
Yeah, because if we can protect more citizens from crashes, this is going to be a great thing for all of us. Mr. Lobenstein, my question to you, and this is from you having your hat as the new chair of the Auto ISAC. Have you been given any information, any intelligence, been briefed on anything of known attackers targeting specifically vehicles, types of vehicles, or is Russian organized crime creating and focused on getting access into vehicles? Have you seen that kind of information?
I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I'm not actively involved in the Auto ISAC myself, so I don't have that information. I can get that for you.
Ms. Barnes, are you familiar of anything like that, where there's briefing on known attackers, Russian organized crime, Chinese state sponsors that are looking at getting access to vehicle information?
At this moment, no. Sorry, I'm not aware.
Because, again, one of my concerns is that you know, I did this for a living. We did this on trains, we did this on subways, and, you know, looking at how can you take advantage of it. We got to know what the threat is, and this is why I think this creation of the auto ISAC is important. And if you're not getting the kind of information sharing, because the federal government should be sharing as much information as it possibly can with the private sector for the private sector to protect themselves and to protect consumers. And if you're not getting that, let me know. And my last point is, the Office of Personnel Management had difficulty protecting the records of 23 million people, and they had the audacity to not even say "my bad" when they sent out the letters to the people that did receive the letter that they were compromised. By the way, I was one of them. And at least when some of these issues have arisen within the auto industry, that I got a letter pretty quickly talking about how you fix it, how you do it, and it was a responsiveness that I wish the federal government had. And so I think it's, I'm always concerned when we put too much faith in federal agencies to protect our information. And it's a cooperation, it seems like it is, Mr. Buse, I appreciate that. But this is where we need to work together, and we need to make sure that innovation and entrepreneurship is allowed to grow. With that, I'd like to recognize...
Actually, if I can make a quick plug for data breach legislation, which has been pending for quite some time, almost a decade, is long overdue and could be helpful here as well.
Then I'd like to recognize my colleague from Virginia, Mr. Connolly, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr.